You know, Governor, I guess there's a fine line here. I mean, when I bring up the Ukrainian issue, the Uranium One issue, destroying 33,000 emails and phones and Blackberries and breaking them with hammers and bleach pitting things, and to think none of that is under investigation, according to my sources. None of it. How is that possible?
Well, you know, I think we've got some pretty, I hope we have some pretty aggressive Republican U.S. attorneys out there that might initiate that process. We have congressional committees controlled by Republicans. They ought to initiate that process. You're right. I don't know how it's possible that they haven't done it. We have to put pressure, political pressure on them to do it.
What are your thoughts on Mueller?
I think we have to create a climate that doesn't make it easy for Mueller to make a self-satisfying decision for what may be a very biased group of people that he's put together. We have to let them know that if they do something that is somehow coming up with a trick technical violation, that's not going to be acceptable to the American public.
How do you justify hiring Hillary Clinton's attorney, only Obama, Hillary, and Democratic donors investigating Trump? How is that possible? How's that fair?
Well, I think it's self-destructive on Mueller's part, because there is no way he can come out, in my opinion, with a decision against this administration with the bias he's built in there without it being taken as just a false, biased decision. So in an odd way, I think he's undermined himself.
All right. So my next question is, for the president moving forward, if he can't get the Congress to do this on health care, what would you advise him to do? I thought he gave a great speech today. We're going to play a part of it as the program unfolds. What are the important items for the Republicans? Don't they risk their own power if they don't keep that 7-year promise?
They've got to keep that promise. They've got to get tax reform done within a month or two, early fall at the very latest. They've got to start looking at things like infrastructure. They've got to start producing. For them to just be sitting there and arguing behind closed doors, they're not going to get support anymore if they don't perform and deliver. And I think we have to tell them that.
If President Trump asked you to help him, advise him as a former chief of staff, would you do it?
I always give advice when I'm asked, and let's just
You're
say
always
that
so
some
shy.
people have asked.
All the years I've known you, you've been so shy and demure. I can't believe you do it.
I know, it's warmth and charm. I'm happy to help in any way I can.
All right, Governor, good to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Sean.
And up next on this busy breaking news night tonight on Hannity.
Obamacare has broken our health care system. It's broken. It's collapsing. It's gone.
President Trump and I and other conservatives, Republicans, do your job. Keep your promises. Ari Fleischer, Larry Elder weigh in next. Also, Jared Kushner, a strong defense today. He says he did not collude with the Russians. All of that and an investigation tonight on Hannity. Peter Schweizer's Government Accountability Institute has a new report on foreign donations helping Democrats in American elections. Democrats have explaining to do as we continue.
In 1982, Ernie Palmer's dream came to light as Ernie Palmer Toyota, a leader, a family man, and a rock of the community. He built on the principles of treating everyone with honesty, trustworthiness, great customer care, and quality vehicles. In 2015, Ernie Palmer Toyota built a state-of-the-art facility to better serve customers. We continue to carry on his legacy today with these same core principles.
From our family to your family.
It's the Ernie way, the only way.
Will you be ready when the moment turns romantic? Cialis for daily use treats ED and the urinary symptoms of BPH. Tell your doctor about your medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain or Adempas for pulmonary hypertension, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have a sudden decrease or loss of hearing or vision or an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis.
to repeal and replace what they've been saying for the last 7 years. The Senate bill protects coverage for pre-existing conditions, and you don't hear this from the Democrats. They like to tell you just the opposite, and they didn't even know the bill. They run out, they say death, death, death. Well, Obamacare is death. That's the one that's death. Obamacare has broken our health care system. It's broken. It's collapsing. It's gone. And now it is up to us to get great health care for the American people.
All right, that was the president earlier today explaining why Republicans must do something, keep their promise, repeal, replace Obamacare. Here with reaction, former White House press secretary, Fox News contributor Ari Fleischer, and Salem radio nationally syndicated host Larry Elder. Ari, I'll go with you, and I'll start with you. I like that the president was back on message today, and I like that the message was really geared in a pretty aggressive way to Republicans. And I really believe after watching Jared Kushner today, this is all going to go away. Now Republicans got to do their job.
Boy, Sean, wouldn't that be great? And that's exactly what you want to have happen if you believe in good government and getting our problems solved. Look, I think on a double basis today, Jared had a very good day. That's what you call effective pushback, and he did it well. The president went on the offense and focused on an issue, a policy. And I hope that's the beginning of something new for this White House, a relentless policy focus driven by the president. But one last point. Think about how different things could have been if the president had done what he did today on health care by having huge rallies in senator states. Go to Maine and have 15,000 people hear the president talk about repeal and replace, chanting repeal and replace. Same thing in Nevada where Senator Heller is a no vote. The president could have used the power of the bully pulpit on issues so much more effectively in the months leading up to this. I'm glad he did it today. I hope it's not too late.
All right, Larry Elder, let's go to, I think the White House strategy is certainly they're more aggressive. We're talking about Sebastian Gorka. Kellyanne this weekend was amazing. Anthony Scaramucci is taking it to the media. And Scaramucci said one other thing that I think if this president is ever going to be successful, the leaks in the White House, and then I'd argue the deep state, there's been like 150 of those almost daily, have to stop. Here's what Scaramucci said.
We got to get the leaks stopped, Chris. I know that it's Washington, so it's going to be impossible to stop all of them. But I think what's going on right now is a high level of unprofessionalism, and it's not serving the president. If the leaks don't stop, I'm going to pare down the staff because it's just not right, Chris.
He will fire them all. But I think even more dangerous to the president are deep state leaks from our intelligence community that have almost been daily.
Well, it's a huge problem. You know, Sean, for the last 7 years, what the Republicans should have done is spent money on public service announcements, explaining the problems of Obamacare, talking about free markets, talking about the fact that doctors are artificially limited, the number of doctors because of the American Medical Association, talk about the tax breaks that corporations get that individuals don't get, talk about the failure to provide health insurance across state lines, make the case for why we ought to have limited government and why we ought to have free markets in health care. We have not done that. When you have Senator John Cornyn, for crying out loud, saying, let's keep the portions of Obamacare that we like, such as preventing insurance carriers from denying people with pre-existing conditions, you've turned the concept of insurance on its head. It's no longer insurance. It's now a trust fund. And the only issue now is who's going to pay for it and how much. That's where we are right now.
And I'll start with Ari. Ari, should the Republicans who control all these committees, when you see real collusion with Ukraine, and then you've got a real Russia conspiracy with Uranium One, should those committees, if we believe in equal justice under the law and fundamental fairness, should they be bringing those people involved into these committees?
Absolutely.
You know, there is a role for government investigative committees, but I want it to be secondary. I think the Republicans' strongest hand is policy. Donald Trump and Republicans were elected to build a wall, to repeal and replace Obamacare, to fix the economy, to increase wages, particularly for blue-collar struggling Americans. If they do that, the sky is the limit for Donald Trump and the Republicans.
What I think Donald Trump is doing is talking about the hypocrisy and the selective outrage. That's what's going on here. Why are we talking about Chinagate? In the mid-'90s, for crying out loud, you had these Asian business persons making illegal contributions to the DNC. The head of the FBI, Louis Freeh, said, if there's any reason for a special counsel, it is now. His successor said the same thing, and Janet Reno refused to do it. This is why a lot of Republicans are simply PO'd and circle the wagons around Donald Donald Trump and don't care about all this nonsense about collusion because they realize the double standard and the hypocrisy and the selective outrage.
But if we're going to if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. I think a lot of people feel that way, but good advice from both of you. Thanks for being with us. All right, when we come back, we have a brand new report tonight about campaign foreign donations, raising a lot of questions. And how did the Clintons make so much money from foreign governments? Peter Schweitzer has an exclusive report tonight on Hannity and also tonight.
The record and documents I have voluntarily provided will show that all of my actions were proper and occurred in the normal course of events of a very unique campaign.
More members of the Trump administration, they are fighting back. Jared Kushner, he defends himself against the allegations he colluded with the Russians. We'll check in with Sarah Carter, Greg Jarrett, all of that, plus my important monologue tonight about how you, who voted for Donald Trump, can stand up to fake news and defend the agenda you voted for. Straight ahead.
Here at Ernie Palmer Toyota, we want to make sure our customers are well cared for before and after the vehicle purchase. That's why Ernie Palmer now offers our 4-year no-cost maintenance program on all new car purchases at no additional cost. Drive worry-free knowing tire rotations, oil changes, roadside assistance, and more are all covered by Ernie Palmer. Now that's peace of mind. A great Ernie Palmer staff with great customer care.
From our family to your family.
It's the Ernie way, the only way.
to Hannity.
Welcome back to Hannity. So for months, the left has been completely obsessed with the possibility of Russia collusion in the 2016 presidential election. Nonstop coverage. Democrats have vowed to get to the bottom of all of this alleged foreign meddling, except, of course, when it comes to their own fundraising. A brand new study from Peter Schweitzer and the Government Accountability Institute shows that as of 2016, fewer than 10% of Democratic lawmakers with active donation pages on their websites require a card verification value. It's known as a CVV in order to make a contribution. Now, on the other side of the aisle, the Republicans, a much different story. 91% of Republicans require the CVV. Now, this system is important because it ensures the credit card holder is in possession of the card, thereby preventing fraudulent donations from foreign actors and others trying to influence, for example, our election process. Joining us now to discuss the latest example of left-wing hypocrisy, one of the people behind the study, the president of the Government Accountability Institute, as well as the author of the best-selling book, Clinton Cash.